Hey, hey, that's my car spot. Oi, my car. Yes, babe, yes, I know. Organic kale. Yes, I know. Almond milk. I'm just trying to park. Not the Milk Lab one, yes. I know. I gotta go. Bye. Man, I need a beer.
If I step outside, will I burn in the inferno? Will I freeze all of tomorrow? If I wager warmth away, will the regrowth ever look the same? Or will the forest be forever altered? I don't know how to pray, but I'm down on my knees. I don't know what to say. I am begging, come see me through. Hope will see me through. Hope will see me through. If I raise a white flag, am I putting myself in the fire line? Will I be the ash or what I held dear? Only way around is to go straight through it. I can already feel the embers falling. I don't know how to pray, but I'm down on my knees. I don't know what to say. I am begging, come see me through. Hope will see me through. Hope will see me through. Oh, billows rise to glory. Orange skies are warning, don't go that way. But I am gone, I am gone. Oh, with the heart of the grass tree, I survive, even thrive in the fire. And when the rain comes, I'll flower. When the rain comes, I'll flower. I don't know how to pray, but I'm down on my knees. I don't know what to say. I am begging, come see me through. Hope will see me through. Hope will see me through.
Woo! Oh my God. Would you like to grab a seat?
Thanks.
That was beautiful. Yeah, I've just come in from work and I guess you've just been booked into probably the world's shittest gig you've ever had to an audience of myself. But I guess, you know, that's the life, isn't it?
Well, at least you're wearing a pineapple shirt and a sailor cap, like, makes it good.
I know, I feel like I'm a little bit too tropical, but yeah, the sailor cap I just found here, I don't know. Do you know anything about this place?
No, it's beautiful though, isn't it?
It is, it's stunning. And
Where
I mean,
whistle goes?
looks like we've got a bartender here, so it's a bar. So I feel like it would be disappointing to this bartender if maybe we didn't try some sort of fancy drink. Are you okay with a
Go on.
fancy drink?
Fancy.
Wet the whistle.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Walling Bar.
Welcome to the Walling
Oh,
Bar.
nice. Good, good.
It's a play on words because this is
Wallingborough Street, I got
She's
that.
onto
That
it.
was quick.
and I think we'll just give a shout out to this beautiful gin. This looks like a local gin.
Brookie's doing amazing things, these guys. Yeah, they've just won the 2020 Sustainable Distillery of the Year in London, actually, which is a huge achievement. Epic local distillery, doing heaps of bush regen work, and they're just amazing. So let me
I
hit
think
you
they've
up
got
with
like-
a Brookie Scramble.
35,000 trees that they've
Yeah,
planted, and they just all the waste goes back into the compost, and it's and it's delicious.
You could not fault them. They're amazing, these guys. Yeah.
All right, well maybe we'll try a cocktail.
Sounds good.
And I've also got the sister company of Stone and Wood here who make delicious beers. We're in a lucky part of the world, aren't we?
For alcohol, you're
blessed.
sorted.
And other things. We love all local enterprises here in the Wollongbar. Gives me something to do. I usually just always seem to find someone to talk to when I walk in here, and am able to So what's your name, fine
Jake.
sir? Fine sir, Jake.
Jake, good evening.
What are you making? Would you like to tell us a little bit about your
I'm whipping up a Brookie Scramble, which consists of the slow gin, dry gin, sweetnesses, and little marionette cassie, and topped with soda.
Sounds all right.
Sounds nice.
And what are some of the qualities of the Brookie's gin? I like to hear colourful language, so bring it on.
Oh, the
I don't mean have to swear, but you can use that kind. You can say it's fucking delicious if you like.
the beautiful herbs and spices. I mean,
Not Kentucky Fried Chicken though, is it?
no, it's not. My mind's gone completely blank.
It's the is the slow gin? Is that the one with the juniper berries? Is that?
They're both juniper berry based.
Yeah.
Beautiful botanicals. I think there's local finger limes.
Yes.
All local
Amazing.
botanicals. They've just
Is gin a thing in
brewed to
Ireland?
perfection.
It's starting to be a thing.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's not a
There's-
traditional Irish beverage.
No, I think we're more known for our whiskies, but like there's loads of little independent
Excuse me while
gin
I shake.
distilleries.
Yeah.
Yeah, that are popping up all over Ireland.
So, judging by your accent, you're not from around here.
I think
Is
yes,
that correct?
Ireland. Yes.
Tell us a little bit about how you got to be where we are today here in Byron Bay.
Yeah, well, when I first moved over here, I was in Victoria, and then I got fenced and came up to where it was warmer and where there was nice, local produce like this. And
So were you like a
great
typical
community up here? I love
backpacker
it.
driving around in a van, surfboards, that kind of thing?
Yeah, well, except it was a big, massive bus with my 3 kids. But
Right.
similar. Yeah, we have a big 1966 Bedford touring bus. And so when I was in Victoria, we would tour all the way, come on the tour circuit up here. And every time we came up to these parts, we'd end up staying for a couple of weeks just in here. And then I was like, we're staying for more weeks and more weeks. So I was like, I think we need to move up
You found the
there.
jewel in the crown of,
Yeah, I
of
just
Australia
loved-
up here.
Yeah, I loved it. Loved the community up here and the real, really eclectic, diverse, lovely arts community as well.
Were you planning on settling roots here, or was it originally just like a pull the kids out of school and go travelling kind of deal? What was the original plan?
Oh, the original plan, I was touring full time on the road with the music, and then sort of when I couldn't keep up with the tour schedule with the old bus anymore, I was like, I gotta park it somewhere and be able to fly in and out and do that sort of stuff. Because going back home to tour and
So was it like with the tour manager and officially that kind of thing, or were you sort of?
I
doing
was
it
all the
on-
tour manager. I
You
was
were
the tour
the-
manager, the bus driver, the rock star, the mum, everything, all the hats. I need a good hat like that. Actually, is what I need for the next time I do it.
I think the Wollongbar is there's going to be more props here all the time. I've just discovered this place. It's fantastic. It's got delicious brookies. Look at this.
Oh, look at this.
Good timing. Talk about botanicals.
Oh yeah. Thank you.
So this is the Sustainable Brewery of the Year, and we love the fact that it's the Sustainable Brewery of the Year. That is something to be proud of.
So in Irish,
This
you
is the-
say sláinte. for
Sláinte.
cheers. Yeah, sláinte.
I've got like 7. I've got like Salute, Chin Chin, L'chaim, Prost. This is
Sláinte.
Sláinte. They all sound sort of. Do you think there's some sort of lingual kind of? It goes all back to maybe like some sort of Gaelic or some sort of like the word like salute, Sante, like they're all
Sure.
quite sort of,
Yeah.
yeah. You're not a linguistic professor or anything by any chance?
No, well, I know most of those are from the like Romance languages, aren't they called? And ours are Gaelic, so they're different trees of different branches to the.
What's the old, is Gaelic,
Industry.
how old is Gaelic as a language in comparison to say like Latin and,
Oh, I mean, Latin's the oldest.
is it? Okay. 'Cause
But the
I-
Gaelic languages are like a group of languages. So there's, you know, Scots Gaelic, Irish. We call it Gaelga. That's what we call the language in Irish. And then there's, you know, Welsh and different branches of Gaelic within that.
Because I know when I was in Wales that they have like a bilingual kind of thing going on, so people speak Welsh and English, and some people they only speak, what's it, I don't know, is it called Welsh or is it
Welsh,
called
yeah,
Welsh?
yeah,
So growing up in Ireland, how much focus is there on learning the sort of, well, the Gaelic language as well as
Yeah.
like actual Irish sort of traditions and folklore and all that stuff? Is it?
Yeah, I
Is it
mean,
still
massive.
happening?
Yeah, we have. I mean, it's considered a dying language, but we still, you know, it's compulsory in school up until year 10, I think, still. And all our government stuff and most stuff has to be bilingual. So street signs are all in English and in Irish, and you know, it's a way of reclaiming our language as well. So, like, we lost it in one generation during the colonization. So to claim that back, it's taken us a long time. You know, I think now there's a lot more people proud to speak Irish, whereas before it was like a little bit, you know, it was still, you know, it wasn't cool.
Yeah.
But I think it's
Renaissance
really
of
lovely
people
that.
getting in touch with the original
Yeah.
languages. There's
Yeah.
some good things going on. I'm kind of interested to know like how you became the artist you are today, because you know, you're a beautiful singer-songwriter and you're also very like kind of motivated in lots of different ways to make change and things. Was there, growing up in your household, was it what was the music like, and what was the sort of upbringing you had as far as like political stuff kind of goes?
Yeah, well, my dad's a musician, so that's a great start there. And my mum was in theatre in the arts, so we had arts in the family, you know. So we were around a lot of music, around a lot of theatre, around within that community. And then both my dad is very political in his music, I suppose. So that was he's reinvigorated a lot of old Irish poetry and set it to music, and he was always really involved in lots of campaigns, I suppose human rights sort of stuff within Ireland and around the world. So we were grown up in a household around that. And my mum, you know, was quite a feminist growing up, and so the conversations in the house were always
Very
like,
spirited and
yeah, very spirited. Yeah, but I think like at the core of what mum and dad, you know, really instilled in all of us is like, you know, humanity and the human kindness, and that, you know, we're all human at the end of the day, you know, and we, you know, not to judge people on anything.
It's not so much
other than that.
religious-based sort of upbringing, not the whole Protestant Catholic kind of duality, or
not as much. My dad really was one of very early on. I mean, we kind of were ostracized a bit because we weren't practicing Catholics, but my nana and my aunties and my whole family were really, really Catholic. You know, my nana was praying more than she was doing anything else. So we kind of grew up with like knowing that religion exists and it's really important to some people, but Dad was very much like having conversations that people weren't having about the Catholic Church way back then. Now those conversations are happening all over Ireland, but when we were growing up they weren't. So we were kind of always on the outer a little bit anyway, because we weren't in, like, even within our community we were kind of on the outer because we weren't in the church, and really the centre of everything in the Irish small rural towns anyway still revolves around
So your parents
the church.
quite proud of the way that you sort of taken up the fight over here for Black Lives Matters campaign, and now with actually speaking directly to your Irish brethren about asking them to join you. Are they really behind you in that?
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, there's a phrase in Ireland, you know, I didn't lick it from the stones, you know. So like it came through me from them,
I like it.
you know. So So yeah, I think they can see where it's come from on both sides, and I think they're both very proud that, you know, that it's easy to be silent right now. It's easy to be silent at any point in history, but right now it's easy to be silent. And I think now is a time when we are in this strange and uncertain times to make sure that we come back into a community, a world that is better than, you know, version 2.0 or whatever. You know, it's better than what we've been doing, and that takes some uncomfortable conversations and truths, and, you know.
Well, we're here to have some comfortable and uncomfortable conversations here in the Walling Bar, and also to hear some music. And well, cheers. Thanks so much, Ronja,
Cheers.
for. Look, I'm not sure who your agent booked you into a gig here in the Walling Bar because things are still quite quiet in here, but I'm very appreciative to be here. And Jake, you know, he's
A
also
two-person audience.
yeah, he's also here to provide us with these delicious Brookies cocktails, our local gin provider. And going to get a couple of, I know that you've been booked to play a couple of songs here, so
Yeah.
what would you like to...
Well, maybe I'll sing a song in Irish for you.
Oh, that'd be
after,
beautiful.
Yeah, after speaking about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just going to sit here and enjoy this Friday knockoff experience here in the Walling Bar. This is
I know, it's
definitely
pretty
my
good
favourite bar at
experience.
the moment. Yeah. There's always someone to chat to, that's for sure.
And the drink was very nice, by the way.
Oh, thank you, darling.
Thank you, Jake.
So this song is Oro Shidavahawalya, and it means welcome home. And it was a welcoming home of a kick-ass pirate queen from the 16th century. So since you got the theme, it kind of works in to help in the rising, and her name was Gráinne Whale. Shidua Ivan Balinwa Do bear crack to the hinjeven De guivra ishel of merlock Is to jitilish Negalye Horo Shuruva Hualia Horo Shurava Humalea Horo Shurava Huaya Anisher Yuktan Tauri crack to the even the guira she'll me log it's your duty listen gary oh oro shidva huaya oro shidva huaya oro shidva huaya oh nisher hyukton tauri
Beautiful. When did you learn that song?
When did I learn it?
Was it like you know? Yeah.
Am I supposed to come back down to here?
You
I
can
don't
if
know
you
what
like.
the rules of this gig is, you know?
Well, your drink's not going to drink itself.
Yeah,
so,
my drink is
yeah. I don't think you're getting paid enough to stand up there the whole time.
Yeah, well, it's a song definitely that was sung in school. And
Really?
Yeah, it's a bit of a rebel-rousing song. So it's something that kind of we all know. But then I was playing a festival maybe about 10 years ago, and I just asked my dad to reteach me the song, and so it was lovely because kind of he would correct me and tell me, oh no, you gotta fix that bit or that bit, and then I've kind of made it my own now. Yeah.
So you're able to use his ear for the Irish, the Gaelic dialect.
Yeah,
and-
it's brilliant. I mean, he's an amazing, fluent speaker, and without being in Ireland now, especially like when you're not around the language at all, like I think you kind of pick things up. Even if you knew nothing of Irish and you went over to Ireland, I feel like you'd pick up all these little words just because the news is in Irish and the radio is in Irish, and like you get it soaks in, you know. And when you're completely cut off, like I have a few Irish friends here, and I'd make an effort to at least greet them in Irish or speak a little bit so that I have it in me. But really, it's my dad at the moment that I suppose is my line back to speaking.
Is it hard with the situation around borders and stuff at the moment to not be able to visit Ireland or not have them come over here?
I was supposed to be there right now. Actually, I was touring for 6 months, starting in July, and starting the UK and Ireland and America, and I was going to be home for most of it and just kind of going back and forth. So so it's really hard. You know, I had to kind of, when the borders closed, it was a tough decision. You know, the kids are in school here, so they're like settled, or do I quickly get in a plane? And then all the flights were just getting cancelled, and I have so many friends and friends of friends that have been stuck in so many crazy situations. I think I thought by now it would have opened up and that would still be going home, like, I don't know, the hopeful optimist inside of me. So
it's a strange time. I think everybody's abandoned any kind of sense of expectations. Or do you feel like you sort of, have you gone through like different moments this year where you've sort of been, getting ready to plan more things, and then now do you just feel like you kind of have to just really
massive.
just live week to week and just, not have too many expectations for the future?
Yeah, well, right before it all lockdown, I was actually in January, I was invited to the International Folk Alliance, which happens in New Orleans, and there's like only a curated bunch of artists that are invited every year, so it's a big thing, and you play for all the international festivals and booking agents and all this sort of stuff, and it's an amazing opportunity. And from that came lots and lots of opportunities, but like then they just all went do 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 like dominoes, and just fell over. And you know, I sit in hope that those things will exist in some form after, but it's kind of, I've been, a full-time musician and working really hard to create opportunities, I suppose, like that. And then when you finally get, these sort of like beautiful offers, and you're like, wow, yes, that's what I've been working so hard for. And when they kind of all fall over, you're like,
well, I guess everything's on hold, It's and what I love is I loved hearing about how you keep you don't let those barriers sort of knock you down, like the 24-hour live streaming to raise the $9,000 for your album is, I mean, it's inspiration to other artists out there as well.
Yeah.
How did you, so you did that a couple of weeks ago, was it?
Yeah, so I did too. I did it. My album Return to the Sea came out about a year and a half ago, and so or a year ago now, to crowdfund that, I was $9,000 down on one of those like goals where if you don't meet the target, you don't get it. You get nothing.
Yeah.
And so I was like,
pressure's on.
Yeah. And I was kind of like, oh well, I have two options here. I can just like admit defeat, or like I'm a bit of a fighter. So I was like, what are some things, And so live streaming wasn't really, look at now it's a thing.
Yeah.
But it wasn't really a thing
bar.
a year and a half ago when I did the stream. And I just was like, well, if I play the songs live to air and people like them, they'll be willing to pre-order the CD. And You know, I raised $9,000.
So did you just
in
play the
24
album
hours.
like 50 times in a row or something? Or
No, I
what?
kind of took requests. It was amazing. I didn't know how much material I'd have. I repeated some
So did you
stuff.
literally keep playing music for 24 hours?
24 hours, yeah. And then
Did you have a potty or?
I was very clever.
I'm sure everybody's thinking that.
No,
like,
I was clever. I had I put on hold music. I'd face the phone towards like YouTube or something. I'd be like, I put on like this hold music, and I made it really funny.
commercial
each
break.
time. And I'd be like, I have to go to the toilet. Like,
were people bringing you a little, like, did people like come and
yeah,
bring
I
you bits
did.
of food?
I had like
and-
people kind of would call in, but then this.
How did you stay awake that amount of time?
I don't know. When you're meant to do something, you just find it inside of you, don't you?
Where does that come from? Is that something that was, you know?
Yeah,
is that
probably.
your-
You just get the job done, and then so because of that really amazing experience, and I suppose I saw like this, like such an amazing way to use technology and live streaming as a way to connect with other people that you wouldn't normally get to
Yeah.
connect with or whatever. I just said, you know what, every Sunday I'll stream live on my Facebook page, and so I did that. I'm up to 114 weeks in a row of doing that, right? But at
Wow.
100
I'm just going to
weeks,
give that a bit of round of applause. That's
I haven't done
dedication.
24 hours every time. But at 100 weeks, I said to myself, like, we're in lockdown all over the world, all these places. I should celebrate the 24-hour again. And so I did 24 hours
So
again. But this time
the
I
reboot.
had guests. Like, I had about 50 guests that kind of came on, you know, either virtually or popped over to the bus because kind of restrictions had just lifted and you
Must
could
have been a
people.
pretty fun, kind of weird experience, a 24-hour show with a bunch of friends popping in. And
It was
like,
amazing. It was one of my highlights.
Staying sober might have been the trickiest part of it.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't go down that, but yeah. And too much caffeine is also, then you're like on screen, you're going, oh my God, I have so much to tell you.
So that's a good segue to talk about some of the friends you've made in Byron, and I love the friendship that you've kicked off with Mandy Nolan, who's
yeah, Mandy.
well, you know, we love Mandy for so many reasons. That she's such a voice of Byron, you know,
Yeah,
like
she is.
she really is, and she's, you know, what I love about her is that she owns everything that she says, and she doesn't shy away from people in public. She'll just engage with anybody. And how did that friendship come about? Because I think you guys are quite different, quite similar.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like, how did that happen?
Well, she actually, I was doing a festival before I moved up here. I was on Bellow Winter Music Festival. And Brian Nankervis was supposed to interview me on this Brian Nankervis on the couch thing. And his plane.
So the guy
got-
from Rockwiz or something?
Yeah, from Rockwiz, yeah. And it was meant to be this like interview. Anyway, his plane got delayed or something, and he didn't land in time. And Mandy comes like running up to the stage. I'd never met her before, and she had only been told, "Here's a chick that lives on a bus with her 3 kids. Like, go and interview her." And she was just like, "Oh, here we go. Like, here's some crazy hippie that lives on a bus with her 3 kids." And but then by the 5 minutes in, we were just like, "I love you," and she's like, "I love you." And then
Oh, so
I think we
nice.
crossed paths maybe on 1 or 2 festivals after that, and where she was emceeing or something. And then when I moved up here, she was like the first person I called, being like, "Hi, I've just kind of moved up here, and I know that you said you live up here." And then, yeah, we have, supported each other on what we're both doing, and our kids love each other. Her daughter actually has come on tour with us, nannying lots, and yeah, just...
Because it's quite funny. The way that I first met you was Mandy rang me and asked if you could come on my show because you just had all of your surfboards stolen.
Yes,
and you
that's
came on the
right.
show and somebody donated a surfboard or a
'cause
bunch of surfboards.
my daughter is still riding that board. Yeah,
And it was
yeah.
kind of cool to be part of that little...
It was such a lovely story. We got all the boards, like whole family worth of 5 boards on the car or whatever, stolen overnight.
That's a bummer.
Yeah, and but like within an hour we had like of Mandy putting a call out because everyone loves her. We had a bunch of boards, including the one you got. Yeah, for her.
Yeah.
She still rides it.
And so now you guys are doing the CWA, which is not the Country Women's Association,
Yeah.
which is a kind of a pretty sort of right-leaning sort of organisation.
Yeah.
And you're actually doing the Country Witches Association. And Tell us about that. And what is with the whole hair in the sky thing as well? How did that become like the...
Oh, that was just a random photo shoot that had happened on, you know.
I've seen a few photos of you guys, of Mandy and you guys doing,
yeah, we're just
flicking the
kinda
hair up.
getting wild. Yeah, so I had kind of thought that it was funny, just like Country Witches Association as opposed to Country Women's Association. And then Mandy had rang me about doing a gig, and we'd been joking about it for ages. And we had actually been sweeping up a hall one night after a gig, and we were just like, we really are the Country Witches Association kind of thing. And then Mandy rang me about doing a gig, and she's like,
What do you mean by
should we do?"
witches exactly? Like, how did you become sort of attached to that
we were
word?
like-
Where
so
did that...
I really honour what the Country Women's Association does here, and Ireland we have a similar. It's the ICA, the Irish Country Women's Association. So like I know the power and strength of women, right? But I think younger generations and actually more left radical leaning people may think that that's very conservative and may not want to bake cakes. Do you know what I mean? Like, but we
Right.
want to be part of the revolution.
Maybe bake weed cakes or something instead.
That's it. So we really wanted a place where we could have, both Mandy and I do our thing, but like there aren't really places where we can have uncomfortable conversations, let's say, or like talk about some issues that you can't really talk about in a comedy show or just a straight music show.
Yeah.
So we kind of thought, let's put together some ideas where it's kind of talk showish, kind of music, kind of comedy. And she had pitched that to me, and I was like, well, we've got to call it the Country Witches Association. And so it ended up creating the show because we hold it like a meeting. So everyone that comes get a membership card.
Really?
And we have...
Are only women allowed to go?
No.
Oh.
We take... I know in the Country Women's Association it's only women, but we take all of them.
Does that mean
anyone.
would I be a wizard or would I be a witch if I came?
You can be whatever you want.
Or a warlock.
Your membership card will say
Well, I'd like to be a warlock.
witch. Oh yeah, there you go.
I think I think paganism's fantastic, and you know there should be a little bit more kind of awareness of pagan. You know, it's all about the land and nature and the stars and everything like that. And I think
Yeah.
it's sort of coming back a little bit, isn't it?
Yeah,
This
definitely.
awareness of pagan
Yeah.
traditions
And I think
stuff.
because, like in Ireland, we have a lot of celebrations and cultural things that are still based on that calendar that I'm quite aware of, you know, of those
Yeah.
things as well. So can bring that witchiness to
Do you have a favourite pagan tradition or pagan day?
Well, like Bealtaine, which I think over here you guys call Beltane, which kind of makes me laugh. That's the Irish for, you know, I think the changes, the spring to like the changes of the seasons are always.
Yeah, because we're about to
honoured.
hit spring in a few days.
And Samhain is the Halloween one.
Samhain.
Yeah.
Such romantic, colourful words. It's so nice.
Yeah, so I think like those are really. I have big memories of sort of bonfires and beautiful, you know, fires and stuff like that. That you'd sort of.
Not getting burnt at the
honest.
stake or anything.
No,
like
but
that.
I'm sure I would be still. Like, I'm sure that they'd come for me.
Bring it on.
Mandy and I are working
Bring it.
on it.
Bring it. Well, I feel like it's time for another song.
Yeah, cool.
I've got your contract here somewhere, and I think I think we've got 2 more songs. So,
All right.
what are you feeling?
Well, I'll do one that we do at the Country Witches show.
Beautiful.
Actually, yeah, after you're talking about that. That might be a good... This is good. I had a totally different set list in my mind for this gig and my contract.
You're a pro when it comes to impro.
Now you're bringing all the other stuff out. It's fun. Didn't expect it. It's good. Yeah, because when we started the Witches, Mandy was like, "You already have an anthem that has witches in it, so like, let's just go with that one
That's
for
the
the
theme
anthem."
song.
Yeah. Let me get this back in so I can hear myself. I'll just keep the drum going there, and you can, you know, bop along as if like.
Yep, bopping.
Bartender is bopping, so we're good. They can hunt you down like the witches. they can try. Burn you up like Joan of Arc and you will survive. Drag you to the gates of hell, but you won't fall in. Shackle you to the devil like the wind, you'll rise again, singing hey, hey, oh, heroes sing. They can fill you with venom, you will stand gentle in their face, like a python on the land the dark can never erase. Hey! Scram through their promises, your path that will stay straight, and up through the dust, sing with us, singing hey, hey, oh, heroes sing. Baby burn bright, singing hey, oh, heroes sing. Baby burn bright. They can pay you in blackened bills, but that won't change your worth. Fill your paces with soot, someone will write the truth. They can make the laws of your body, but your spirit is yours to keep. They can make a herd to follow, but there'll always be a black sheep singing hey, hey, oh, heroes sing. Baby burn bright, singing hey, hey, oh, heroes sing. Baby burn bright. You can want more of your future without betraying your past. You can hide in the ghosts and the shadows that they cast. You can lie in the low flame or in the high flight, or use your breath, be a bonfire, and baby burn bright, singing hey, hey, oh, heroes sing. Baby burn bright, singing hey, hey, oh, heroes sing. Baby burn bright, singing hey, hey, oh, heroes. You can take it with your right hand, you can take all that's left and fall into the night. Now I'll sing a lullaby into your ears. I'll sing a lullaby into your ears as you fall into the night, singing hey, hey, oh, heroes sing. Singing hey, hey, oh, heroes sing.
Woo! Anya Tira live here in the Walling Bar to an audience of Danny and Jake.
Yeah.
How you doing there, Jake?
Very well, thank you.
Not having to work too hard for your.
This is quite
You're probably
easy
on
gig for me.
JobKeeper anyway or something. Anyway. Yeah, I don't know. Do musicians get JobKeeper? How does that work? No. Yeah, they do.
Yeah, they eventually let us in.
They let you in.
Yeah,
They're like,
we
you're a
weren't-
real person. You got a real job. kind of.
We weren't in the category at first, and then they were like, "Oh, sure, let's let him in."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what the world would be like without the arts, to be honest.
Yeah,
And
I think a lot of
it's,
people have realised that, especially over this time, you know, like how much we've all relied on music and art to keep us healthy and, you know,
I need a
same
good
mind.
dance. I mean, there's, you know, you can dance in your lounge room and
True.
all that, but I just took it for granted. I totally took for granted that feeling of just people together in a space, just letting loose. And
How mad is it
I
when
hope
you
it
like
comes back. And
see pictures of like festivals?
I
and those
know.
people, it kind of like is like, oh God, did
you're
we
really
used to
close
do
together.
that?
Like,
You're
what's
close.
going on there? I actually
Yeah,
had
it's kinda
had an idea the other day. You know those but like. What if you had a festival where everybody had their like one of those bubbles? You know those bubbles you can
Oh,
get
yeah.
in and you can roll around in. imagine like a mosh pit or whatever, where everyone's just
Very
rolling
safe.
around in.
At the start, a friend of mine
buttons.
was saying we should bring festivals in with tutus, like big like hoop tutus. They're like
The
your
hoop
s-
ones.
Yeah, where your
You
space
could
is
stash
like
heaps of
to-
drugs under them. or people too. You could like smuggle 4 of your friends into the hoops.
Yeah, definitely. Kids,
be
be
like-
quiet.
Nothing to see here. Bruce. Shh. But
True.
so, you know, you're a witch. So give us some look into your crystal ball
All right, for you.
for the world.
Oh, for the world.
For the world.
wow.
I'm okay. I'm okay. We live in Byron Bay. We live inside the literal bubble of Byron
Yeah,
Shire.
true,
We're all
true.
protected by this beautiful energy, and it's like you know, the poor souls in Victoria right now,
Mm.
just like completely different life they're living, and the rest of the world. So, I mean, are you a conspiracy person, or are you a? Where do you sit
no,
in that stuff?
No, I'm not there. I haven't lost all hope. I suppose I try to keep myself really grounded, because I think at this time in history you can get pulled to all these, because it's so unknown. Everyone's searching for something that's certain or sure, you know, and I'm just really sitting in the unknown, you know, like, and being okay with being in shit none of us know. Like, we don't know what this is going to be. We don't know how this is going to all go. And I think that need to have theories, or there's probably an element of truth in everything everyone is saying on every single side. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, everywhere. But to hold on to anything right now, I think is quite naive, because like, we've just seen the whole world can change in an instant.
Let's go
you know?
against your sort of natural fighting spirit, though, to be
Yeah,
so sort of
true.
passive in the situation. It's quite
Yeah,
passive, you know.
yeah.
Some things, like we'll talk about Black Lives Matter in a second, you can be direct
Hmm.
action, and then so you're saying this whole situation, it's so kind of arbitrary that it's very hard to know what to
Yeah.
grasp onto, you know.
Yeah, and I think-
where are the lizard people we're supposed to be like bringing down, you know? Is it Bill Gates bad? Because he seems to me like a lovely kind of little nerd, you know, like he's trying to do good things, and it's
Yeah, I
I don't understand, and people at least watching out there in Mullumbimby and all over Byron, like, I mean, I don't want to, you know, upset anybody, because I don't really know, but
Yeah.
You know?
I think the best thing is to kind of stay in that place, and I think that's uncomfortable as humans. Like, I think we like to know, we like to have certainty, we like to investigate things and find things out, and like, it's our natural human like urges. But I think, yeah, I just feel like now is a time for just like, you know, just listening, you know, like listening, but don't hold on to anything too.
for how long?
too-
Because I'm sure you have your limits where you
Yes.
would sort of stop, where you'd stop being passive. Like,
Yeah.
what would be, you know, would mandatory vaccinations be your kind of, you know, breaking point, or would it be like
No,
maybe if like there was like
I just refuse to believe that we live in a world where people are trying to kill us.
right.
You know, like, I'm not in.
Well, what about control us rather than
Yeah.
kill us?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure I just like believe that. I think it's really hard to wake up in a world where we think that. You know, look at our kids, look at the next generation. Like, is that really a healthy thing to be thinking as an adult when we're minding the next generation of kids coming up? You know, so I think, I don't know, I just refuse to believe that there
It's
would
like
be
a voice of
doctors
reason.
or scientists out there that are actually trying to control or kill us. Like, I stop at that. Yeah, I think that's probably my line. Like, I don't think that, yeah, I think there's evil and corruption and, you know, like idiots in power and all that sort of stuff. But I draw the line at, you know.
Yeah, and I think it's too much, it's too arbitrary and it's too ethereal, whereas some issues you can see a distinct injustice. And I suppose that kind of brings us to the way that you've become involved in the Black Lives Matter movement, and how that led to the beautiful song we're going to hear at the end of this random catch-up in a
Yeah.
bar that's really made my whole week feel a lot better. So
Aw,
cheers,
thanks.
thanks for that.
Yeah,
Thanks for being
cheers.
here, and thanks to Brookie's Gin and Jake the barman for being so composed in your role tonight.
Thank you, thank you.
And buckling along.
Thank
Yeah.
you for your words and your songs.
Thanks.
And also, thanks, just going to give a shout out to the Byron Bay Live crew who
Yeah.
create this bar. Sean and Dan and everybody here. Yeah. And Into the Unknown will be on this evening from 8 till 10, as well as Bango from 6 till 8, live streamed on Bay FM, which is, I mean, how important are like local community voices? Bay FM, The Echo,
Oh, yeah.
what we're doing here? Like,
Massive.
You know?
Yeah. I think that, you know, with the falling down of so many jobs and different things, that, you know, the big media out there don't exist anymore, you know, and the areas to get yourself heard or to have alternative views or different things always coming at you comes at like community, and really I love that about this community here, that there's so much, the radio is so supportive, you know, like the lads here putting all this on, and the Echo, and you know, everywhere you turn there's a place to find someone that will back what you're doing.
Have you found it quite a welcoming community overall?
Yeah, massive. I mean, I suppose I knew a lot of artists and musicians and different people before I moved up here, so I was lucky in that it didn't like, I didn't arrive here without knowing anyone. So, but yeah, really beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've got a big bus to invite people over to.
That's it.
Where's the bus these days?
I'm in Mullum. Yeah.
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 You in the bus?
Yeah.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
you're actually living in the bus?
Yeah, I got loads of things attached to it now, but yeah, as the kids gotten
Got
bigger.
a 5G tower up there?
Yes. Give me faster download speeds, please.
Okay, so before we hear We Call You Now,
Yeah.
which I just, ever since you brought out that song and I spoke to you on Bay FM about it, it's such an interesting, it's just such an interesting song, and an interesting where it came from, the fact that you were standing up protesting against the injustices of in America and in Australia as well, and then that there were people with an Irish background who found that somehow irked them, or it ruffled their feathers. So tell us a little bit about what happened after the protest, Black Lives
Yeah.
Matter, and how the song came about.
Yeah, so I mean, I suppose there was lots of things in my nearly 10 years of living here that probably led up to little things, and then that was the final thing where I was like, oh, I can't be silent about it anymore. And it was, yeah, that I was asked by Banyara Culture Collective, a beautiful local Indigenous dance and culture group here, to support them and sing a song at the Black Lives Matter protest. And I very much something that's very dear to my heart, and was something I was very proud to be part of and help them and hold space for it. And then to get comments back from fans of mine that are Irish Australian, I would say most of them, and having a hard time with me making that decision. And also, you know, different things like the All Lives Matter argument. And
So they felt betrayed because you were changing the focus away from Ireland's own sort of colonial struggles
I
to a
think it's
different
just-
struggle, or I don't understand.
No.
I still don't really understand.
Yeah, I don't really understand, but I've had a lot more backlash since the track has come out, and so it's kind of brought even more people to
Really?
the party.
Do you enjoy a bit of
Yeah.
like?
No, I don't enjoy
you
it,
don't
to
enjoy
be
it?
honest. No. But I think, you know, when I read between what happened at the protest and then when I read the kind of narrative of the people that are having their say at me about it, it's more that they hold really dearly to the fact that Australia is a just and fair place. And when their ancestors arrived here, it was so, and it still is now. And so when I say something about the injustices I see here, and I'm Irish and I'm white, they've already identified with me, and they're quite angry that I'm taking that stand, because they've kind of already placed on me whatever they have in their head of what I should be. And so I think if I look now at all the comments that I'm getting now, which are really interesting,
Yeah.
and compare that to what
They say all
happened.
publicity
this
is good publicity anyway, right?
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, the hate speech can stop. I don't like that. You know?
Really?
But
Oh, sorry to hear that.
But the comments about that, it just makes me be like, well, this was the reason the track had to come out, because I'm not saying anything. I've been called aggressive, venomous, all sorts of things, right? And I'm not saying anything aggressive or venomous towards anyone. I'm saying this is Ireland's history. This is a history of your First Nations people in this country. And if you claim some sort of Irish identity or history, you must also recognize when someone else is being oppressed. And don't use your Irish culture as a like badge of honor if you are not also going to like stand up for injustices when you see. And I suppose that's how I was raised. So like to me it's just quite simple. And so the song or the track or whatever it is, I suppose, is a response to me being like, I can't sit quiet anymore. And I also can't be in conversations with people that are claiming some sort of Irish heritage and honoring what I do because of that, but then not seeing that this is like a very similar history that's repeating itself here, you know, a couple hundred years later.
Did you feel on a personal level like it was going to another level with what you were doing with music, to kind of put yourself in a position and to be directly speaking to it's like different than just like writing a song about falling in love or falling out of love, you know?
Yeah.
It sort of transforms who Anya Tyrrell is now as a person. Would you consider yourself now an activist in some ways?
I mean, I always have been. I suppose someone interviewed me today and they were like, you can see the seeds of this entire track in your last album. So like, I've always been speaking about these things in other ways. This is probably the most blunt I've said it. And for that, it wasn't intentional. Like, I didn't intentionally go out to write a spoken word piece. I've never done spoken words in my life. It wasn't intentional. It was just like, I don't know any other way to express this with the rumbling of the emotions that I have inside of me, and this is the way. And for me, I don't do things because it makes, you know, career sense. I do it because that's the next true thing.
Well, you wouldn't be booked in the Walling Bar on a Friday night if that was the case.
Yeah, I do things because that's the next true artistic thing for me. And for me, that is my truth. That is the truth of where I'm living and who I, it's my truth.
Okay. And Emily Waramara was straight on the phone. She was like, get it out there.
Yeah, she was.
Bring it.
Yeah, because we've toured. We were supposed to be touring together now as well, and we've had tours in Ireland and shared our histories and cultures along the way. And she was just like, "Come on, do it." So.
Well, we've got 7 minutes left here at the Walling Bar. The Walling Bar shuts at 6 p.m. on a Friday. It's open from 5 to 6. It's Jake's here on JobKeeper for an hour a week.
Slow songs.
It's got a lot of beautiful stuff here for a 1 hour bartender, the Brookies of Stonewood. Thanks to the Brookies and Stonewood. And big thanks to Anya Tyrrell for coming in. And thanks for the whole team here. Thanks, Jake.
You can keep thanking. It'll take me just a second.
Okay. Thank you, all of the stuff. And Brookie's Slow Gin showcases a unique rainforest fruit of the native Davison plum. Should have known that, bartender.
A local Davidson plum, yes.
You're a fan of the Davison plum?
Oh, beautiful floral, sort of watermelon zesty tones. It's used in local cooking and now in the distillery. It's an amazing fruit. I do love the Davidson plum. Great sauce, great slow gin.
We love it. We love Brookies, and congrats on the Sustainability Award. That is truly
well done, guys. Well done.
Truly a big achievement for the area, putting the area on the map. And
an international award too.
International award.
International award.
Fantastic.
Well done.
Thanks. I summon you now, Irish gather round my fire. I call upon you now, reignite the flame required. Banduka si, enclave solas, gliva mid earthenish. No longer can we agree to disagree. If you claim any ounce of Irish ancestry, I'm calling on you, 30% of this so-called Australian population, to ignite the fire in you from past generation. You were shipped here through waves of famine and rebellion. Your DNA did not drown. You are the survivors of oppression. That ancestral voice inside you, it may need some awakening. But as I walk this land, my God, I hear your ancestors. They're screaming, they're screaming. And they didn't have the chance to scream out for their own injustice. They silently watched their own fall. Please be the voice that they lost. And please do not tattoo the leprechaun on your skin or use our nation as an excuse for another drink. Those Irish jokes, you know the ones, they're not a badge of honor. They are systematic abuses, attempt at humor. Your Irishness is not the green that you garnish on St. Patrick's Day. You've been sold that so your cellular memory may not resurface in this way. And please do not think that because from 3 generations back you come from Cork that I'm your Irish girl and therefore I'll be what your Australian Irishism expects. And you do not get to call me your Irish sister. If your call also tries to inform me that all lives matter, and you certainly have no right to have our grow in your cree if you do not recognize that the killing of black bodies is a disease kind of like the potato blight. I know you investigated that and learned that sometimes people take history and rewrite it, let their narrative reign supreme, and they teach it and on it goes. And this we know, so now we know we're not allowed to deny that there always was and continues to be Indigenous genocide when your ancestors' famine was designed by the very same empire. On Gortamore, 1 million starved to death on Irish land, choked by the Crown's greedy hand. 2 million more as refugees, discarded as traditional landowners, removed from country. And does this not sound familiar? On Gortamore, is this not the same simply stated cry from our Indigenous brothers and sisters? Can we please not be choked when in Crown hands? Can we please not be choked off our native lands? You're the daughters of rebels. You are the sons of poets. Remember who you are. Your ancestors, they know it. Because you, if anyone, should understand these wails of stolen generations. Because I practice that shit on your great-great-grandmother's generation. Or Grey schemed a way to ship off our fertile 8-year-old girls, enslaved to ex-convicts to use as their populating whores. Coffin ships only ever landed with 5 out of each 10 famine body. That's 50%, which is how much more likely Indigenous are to be arrested than die in custody. And do you not hear? Do you not hear that ancestral cry through your DNA? Do you not hear your grandmother's sisters, brothers lost in this way? The fever of families systematically torn apart boils deep in your veins. Do not turn away when we were all once entangled in the same chains. And you do not get to sing our songs lamenting of generations of lost children when you cannot sing for this land's Bunduka Sok spirits kindred. And yes, I can hear it, it's true, the Irish were also enslaved, and the no blacks, no dogs, no Irish attitudes at times remains. And yes, once we were chained and caged together in the same prison, and we were dispossessed and beaten by the same British colonialism. But there came a day where your white skin did become your privilege, your accent slightly faded and your Irishness somehow forgiven. And I know that the cost is that your ancestors had to hide their culture, but in return they were given the keys to climb the white man's ladder on the rungs of the backs of their Indigenous cellmates. That was the only way for your families to carve out their safe space, become the colonizer or die. And although you've been taught you were the good colonizer, that's a fucking lie. There's no such thing. The colony has to be torn apart, and I'm calling on you. I'm saying it's your duty to take part. The Indigenous are only 3% of this population, and those claiming Irish are 30%, and together 33 1/3 makes us a fucking revolution. You're the daughters of rebels. You are the sons of poets. Remember who you are. Your ancestors, they dreamt it. You're the daughters of rebels, the sons of poets. Remember who you are. We call you now. Gliva midurtanish. We call you now. So I demand you feel into your genetic coding, the same one you claim makes you cry when you hear me singing. Feel into your feet as they tap to the Keolagus crack. And remember your ancestors' paths were once crushed under the same Union Jack. Now I demand you hear the tears shed for your ancestors' stories. I demand you hear these same cries in the modern Indigenous imploring. Shame, 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 it has taken us this long. But unraveling is hard, colonization, it holds on strong. You are our lost Irish sons and daughters, the daughters of rebels, sons of poets. You were the agitators. Once silenced, you now have a voice, and I'm begging you, use it louder. And I promise you'll make all in Ireland and your ancestors even prouder. The last few years we've danced on forgotten jigs every time Ireland launched itself forward, unshackling, voting yes to freedoms by letting the truth be heard. Your truth has always been woven between these two shores. We send you strength, enclave solace is yours. So whatever percentage of you feels Irish in your genetic claim, honour Ireland by launching this land forward in yours and our name. Let us dance this dance again, but this slam alongside our freed indigenous cellmates. Allies we were from the start until so-called Australia tried to re-educate. So I summon you now as Irish, gather round the fire. I call upon you now to reignite the flame now required. You're the daughters of rebels. You are the sons of poets. Remember who you are. Your ancestors, they dreamt it. You're the daughters of rebels, the sons of poets. Remember who you are. You're our daughters, you're our sons. Oh, remember who you are. We call you now. Gliva midurtanish. We call you now, we call you now, we call you now. Gliva midurtanish. We call you now, we call you now.
Woo! Yeah,
Good
stuff. Thank you, Miss Anya Tyrrell.
Cheers, thank
That's
you.
a wrap.